So I did a little bit of just researching the other day. I was like, we hear the term fascism and authoritarianism a lot. I say those terms a lot. And I was just like, I wonder what like the textbook checklist is for fascism. Oh my god. It's way worse than I thought it could be when comparing it to what we're experiencing now in the United States. While prepping my notes for this, which I'll be referencing if you see me glancing off to the side, oh my god. Oh my god. This is just stuff I kind of came up with off the top of my head, and this is just scratching the surface. And man, it's truly terrifying. Please stick around, and I want to hear your thoughts in the comment section. And please give me examples of things I missed, because if I was actually to sit down and list every single thing, this would be like a 16-hour video, and I'm not even joking. This is terrifying. Without further ado, let's look at the fascism checklist and see how it relates to what's going on with Donald Trump and the United States. This is from the Keene State College, and before you say, "Oh, this is probably something that was written after just recently after Trump taken office to specially curate it to match what Trump's doing," no, this was written in 2022. Okay, so let's be clear. Characteristics of fascism. Oh boy. So the first one we have here is powerful, often exclusionary populist nationalism centered on cult of a redemptive, infallible leader who never admits mistakes. Does that sound familiar? Because if this doesn't describe Trump to a T, I don't know what to tell you. I don't think I've ever heard Trump admit to a mistake, or even utter the words sorry or my apologies. Did you even say thank you? Yeah, I went there. Exclusionary, just look at his policies on the LGBTQ community, look at his policies on migrants, and regarding the populist part of it, Trump, at least, I mean, I guess to an extent, was and still is a master of rhetoric. And this is something the Democrats fail at time and time again. Trump can come off as a populist. Maybe not as much as in 2016, but he actually knows how to speak to the problems that are actually facing people, which is inherently going to be populist rhetoric. And it's specifically populist nationalism here. So everything from saying immigrants are poisoning the blood of this country to yeah, we're gonna get more into it. This is the least one we should be concerned about. Let's move on to number 2. Political power derived from questioning reality, endorsing myth and rage, and promoting lies. Check. Oh, and number 1, check. Yeah, let's talk about questioning reality and endorsing myths. This is Trump 101. So climate change isn't real. Coal is actually really clean. Like big, beautiful, or not big, sorry, thinking of the bill. Beautiful, clean coal. Okay. They're eating the cats and dogs regarding Haitian migrants. His rhetoric, remember when we had that nasty hurricane season? It was either last year or the year before, where he was saying that like FEMA wasn't helping. They were diverting majority of their resources to providing luxury hotels to migrants. And this directly led to armed militias on the ground hunting FEMA agents when they're trying to help with disaster relief, making them have to fucking pull out for a brief time period. Like, what the hell? And then my favorite, the election denialism, saying that the 2020 election was stolen. Every lawsuit, every independent study on that was just conclusive. The election was free, fair, and absolutely not stolen. And then you have his whole shtick about they were going after me politically. They were weaponizing the government against me. I didn't commit these 91 counts or felon counts. I I didn't do those. Oh, wait, I was convicted of, what was it, 33? Oh, no. No, I didn't know. The Biden's weaponizing the government against me. Insane. Another good one, fixation with perceived national decline, humiliation, or victimhood. Trump and Republicans are, in general, are the biggest victims on the planet, and it's not even close. Let's dig into that and just give a few examples that I have jotted down here. His whole message is just very basic, is making America great again, indicating and fueling that, like, hey, this country isn't great. And, you know, I don't disagree, Trump. We have a lot of problems, but we're on completely different reasons here. You don't think it's great because you have to follow, at least try to follow some sort of rule of law and constitution, even though you rarely care about that. I don't think it's great because, like, hey, we're the richest country in the world without free healthcare, without a livable minimum wage, with shit infrastructure. It gets like a C minus rating from the engineer, like an independent group of engineers who rate this. Yeah. And then we have the every day, Joe Biden this, Joe Biden that. Joe Biden ruined our country. And when he was in office, he's ruining our country. We were a laughingstock under Joe Biden. Nobody respected us. If Kamala got elected, we wouldn't even have a country right now. And then, like, okay, I'm no fan of Biden, but, like, was he destroying the country? No. In many regards, he revived our economy and put us ahead of pretty much every other developed nation in the planet in terms of economic recovery. But hey, that's besides the point. He was ruining it. And then the whole victimhood of, like, all these countries are taking advantage of us. They're using us, even though, like, we built the world order we built the world order where we have became an importer, and we have basically outsourced all of the cheap labor, and so we can just get endless cheap goods. Like, that was being built by the US since the end of World War II. Let's be honest. We are the most exploitative nation on the planet, and it's not even close. What do we have here? White replacement theory. Oh, number 3, check. White replacement theory, number 4, used to show that democratic ideals of freedom and equality are a threat, oppose any initiatives or institutions that are racially, ethnically, or religiously harmonious. So, obviously, we have the ending of, we just covered a video on this, the ending of temporary protected status for Haitians, Cubans, Nicaraguans, Venezuelans, and many others, to be fair, Afghanis. Meanwhile, white South Afrikaners, come on in. Yeah, that's a little bit suspicious. Moving on. The obviously ending all DEI programs. These were programs that they weren't some shit for having quotas or anything like that. It was accessibility, and we'll leave it at that. He ended all of those. He even ruled back, like, civil rights era rules, like the Equal Employment Opportunity Act, and he even rolled back some rule that prevents, like, segregation in government. Like, what are we talking about? If that isn't, like, a indication of what he stands for and what he's pushing for, I don't know what you wanted me to tell you. Like, seriously. We are actively watching him do things like removing pride flags from government buildings, painting over any wall that says anything about diversity. We've seen historical buildings, ship names, etc., that commemorated black people, gay people, or whatever, or even women, historical feature or figures that did very good things. Nope, we're getting rid of that. Nope, can't have that. And just a little bit of a bonus. You remember when he said that immigrants were poisoning the blood of this country? I do. So, again, these are just a couple of examples. I could spend an hour on each one of these checks, and it would be easy. So add a check for number 4. Number 5, disdain for human rights while seeking purity and cleansing for those they define as part of the nation. Human rights, we know he doesn't give a shit about human rights. He sends people to Gitmo. He sends people to CCOT. And remember back when, regarding like terrorists, he said, we need to kill their families. We need to kill their families. Dude doesn't give a shit about human rights and just doesn't, okay? So add a check to that. 6, identification of enemies, scapegoats as a unifying cause, imprison and or murder opposition and minority group leaders. Oh Lord. Obviously, immigrants are the big one here. He blames them for crime, making our communities unsafe, eating your pets, and taking your jobs, hurting the economy, whatever, which every independent study, every single one of them says otherwise, quite the opposite. And then you obviously have the attacks and scapegoating against the LGBTQ community. You have the remarks about far left radical lunatics, which is a far left radical lunatic is literally anyone who opposes him, whether it's a judge that was appointed by him. Like, it's crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. And then we all know everything is Joe Biden's fault. He mentions Joe Biden every day. I swear to God, I don't think there's been a single day of this presidency where he hasn't had an interview or a Truth Social post or just some random comment about Joe Biden. Remember in an interview, hey, the good parts of the economy are my doing. All the bad parts are Biden. The recent plane crashes, that is Biden's woke DEI policies fault. That's not my doing. He blamed Biden for the Boulder, Colorado attack. And then, so paired with that, we have all the rhetoric on arresting Democrats that oppose him, threatening to impeach judges that oppose him. And like, it's literally probably more than once a week, we have someone in his administration threatening to arrest elected Democratic officials, whether that be a senator, a congressperson, like a representative or a governor. Like, it's all on the table. So you can add a little check mark for that one too. 7, supremacy of the military and embrace of paramilitarism, in an uneasy but effective collaboration with traditional elites, fascists, arm people, and justify and glorify violence as redemptive. So let's dig into this one. We obviously know when it comes to the military, Trump is going to do anything to expand it. We already see it in his bill. They're getting another $100 billion under bragging how it's going to be the first $1 trillion Pentagon budget in history. And then we have cases of Trump deputizing his loyal supporters like Proud Boys, or even people he pardoned from January 6th to carry out immigration enforcement. And then, of course, we have the authoritarian fascist military parade coming up this Saturday. So add a check for that one too. 8, rampant sexism. So this is the only one that I can probably say that, like, if you want to talk about Trump as a person, sure. But from a policy standpoint, you can correct me on this, but it's hard to point too much unless you want to like dive into like abortion rights and stuff like that. And you absolutely can add this as a full check and give me your reasons in comments. I'm certainly not going to argue against you. But let's see. From his supporters, absolutely. But from himself, at least from an official capacity, in some cases, it's kind of unfortunate that he's not a little sexist, because then we end up with people like fucking Tulsi Gabbard and Pam Bondi in his administration, 2 most unqualified people ever. Like, are you kidding me? But anyways, I'll leave number 8 up to you if you want to put a check there or not. But so far, we are 7 of 8. And to most people, probably 8 of 8. 9, control of mass media and undermining truth. This is another gimme. He has made efforts to specifically curate his press media pool that has access to the Oval Office and Air Force One. He discredits the media on a daily basis with all the fake news. He's sued so many news networks at this point that I've lost count, along with individual people with these outlets. He's made several comments about how certain outlets should lose their media licenses. And obviously, we've talked about how he undermines the truth and basic reality on a daily basis. Anything the media says about him, if it's not positive, he will immediately discredit it and call it fake news. So definitely add a check mark for that one. Number 10, obsession with national security, crime and punishment, and fostering a sense of nation under attack. This is Trump 101. This is Trump 101. Do I even need to elaborate here? Let's dig in. So I don't even know the legal justification for federalizing the National Guard and sending in the Marines. At first, it was like reporting was like the Insurrection Act for California, claiming a migrant invasion in LA. Then you have some ancient trade expansion act that he used that allows him to impose tariffs if they represent a national security threat. That's pretty much the basis for all of his tariffs right now. He invoked the Alien Enemies Act to deport migrants with no due process, claiming we were being invaded by Tren Aragua. The Alien Enemies Act has been previously invoked 3 times in history. Number 1, War of 1812. White House burnt down during that, by the way. So yeah, there's definitely some legal justification there. Second one, World War I. Need I say more? Third one, World War II. Fun fact, we used this act during World War II to round up Japanese U.S. citizens and put them in internment camps. Yeah. Check. Number 11, religion and government are intertwined. Fun one. I shouldn't really need to elaborate on this either, but he established a new White House faith office led by some fucking televangelist. We have the establishment of the anti-Christian bias and anti-Semitism task forces. Yeah, because there's a lot of anti-Christian fucking bias in this country. Oh my God. He formed the Religious Liberty Commission for policy making on religion. He invited pastors to pray in the Oval Office and at cabinet meetings. He also expressed openness to forgetting separation of church and state during the Rose Garden lunch. Interesting. Number 12. Oh yeah, check. Number 12. Corporate power is protected and labor power is suppressed. This is just another easy one that I shouldn't have to elaborate on, but hey, we will go. Did I say that's 12? Number 12, if I misspoke earlier. At Trump's inauguration, you had pretty much every fucking billionaire in the country there, front row and center for his diplomatic tour in the Middle East. He brought along Elon Musk and Sam Altman, along with 36 other corporate CEOs. And it wasn't for U.S. investment projects, I can tell you that. He ended the ability for federal workers to unionize, and he killed the NLRB, which is the National Labor Relations Board, which was one of the very few good things that Joe Biden worked very hard to restore, to help Americans have the ability to unionize. So he killed that. He also killed the CFPB, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. This was meant to protect Americans and keep big financial institutions in check. You might as well say that's gone. He supports actively rolling back regulations that are meant to protect workers in favor of profitability. This isn't only for workers, but this also just applies to anyone living in the U.S., with all the environmental regulations being rolled back in favor of profitability. So this is easy. Trump himself is a fucking billionaire. Like, what are we talking about? His cabinet is the richest cabinet in United States history. There are so many billionaires in his cabinet. It's disgusting. Number 13. Oh yeah, check. 13. Disdain for intellectuals and the arts not aligned with the fascist narrative. Again, do I need to elaborate on this? Trump's whole thing is about discrediting experts and just purging them if he doesn't agree. Climate scientists, medical experts. We just had RFK purge the fucking vaccine advisory board. Check. Where are we now? Number 14. Rampant cronyism and corruption. Loyalty to the leader is paramount and often more important than competence. Yeah, this is very basic. Look at his admin. It's clearly people who are showing loyalty over competency. He picked Pam Bondi for AG because I forget what year it was, but when she was Attorney General of Florida, She declined to pick up the case for the Trump University fraud case, citing lack of evidence, even though like reporting a week before that was like, yeah, there's all the evidence in the world. So that's just one example. Obviously, we have fucking RFK Jr. as Health and Human Services. Like, it'd be one thing if you put RFK as head of the EPA, but all right, he has a history of being an environmental lawyer. Like, all right, fucking Pete Hegseth, for what is he fucking? Oh God, head of defense or whatever. I'm blanking. A fucking Fox News drunk. Yeah, he was in the National Guard. I don't remember how many years, but yeah, not even close to being qualified to lead our entire military. Oh, he's purged. How could I forget? He's purged several military leaders that we covered that gave him even the lightest criticism. Purged, gone. He's taken over regulatory bodies like the FTC and have dropped several investigations into his allied companies. Like, yeah, check. Oh, and how could I forget? He did a cryptocurrency rug pull as he was entering office, and several NFT rug pulls. Like, this dude, fraudster. Check. Number 15, fraudulent elections and creation of a one-party state. This one's a little bit more interesting. So he signed executive orders that we covered that are attempting to illegally reshape our elections with bullshit like saying you need proof of citizenship, like a passport or birth certificate, or not counting in mail-in ballots that arrive late, which is going to directly suppress a lot of people, including troops abroad. You're with the birth certificate and passport thing, you're talking about suppressing people who had their last name changed through marriage. You have suppressing trans people who may have changed their name for whatever reason. You have this is the kicker. This is the kicker and the most scary one. We now have, I haven't covered this yet because I'm just waiting to see how they play out, because I'm very hesitant to call election interference and fraud. Just on principle, but we're now having investigations move forward with some pretty concerning evidence that he may have literally rigged the 2024 election, which is even more terrifying. And it makes me think all this election denialism was a play and almost a 4D chess move, so he could steal the next election and go turn back on the left to be like, what? You called us idiots for saying that the last election was stolen. So what gives you the right to say this election was stolen? I thought they were free and fair, right? So a little bit of 4D chess there, if you will. And check. Number 16, often seeking to expand territory through armed conflict. All right, this is real quick. Greenland, Canada, Panama Canal, Gaza. I'm probably missing some. Fill in the gaps. Check. So I'm confidently 15 of 16. I'm going to give it 15 and a half of 16 checked, because you could make a real argument for the rampant sexism. I might just be blanking on some like official policies lately. And of course you can go with the about abortion restrictions and stuff like that. Absolutely. And you can absolutely make an argument that his supporters and a lot of people around him are absolutely sexist. I mean, Trump himself is sexist. Like, remember his comments in 2016 about grabbing women by the pussy and fucking, I don't even wait. And is that sexism, or is that just straight up being a rapist? I don't know. You can even relate sexism to maybe to trans issues and whatnot. Again, I'm not going to argue if you want to give that a full check. Yeah. What do you think? What do you think? Are we looking at something that's kind of a little bit concerning here? Anyone who disagrees, what points do you disagree on? Because there's no way you can go through every point I made and say bullshit, because it's not. It's absolutely not. And for all these Republicans who were screaming like, oh, Joe Biden, Barack Obama, they're going to fucking blah, 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 invoke martial law and never leave office. Yeah. Okay, how'd that work out? Go ahead and take the same list and try to do a similar comparison to not even just Democrat, but any other president in U.S. history. I'll wait. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below, and I will see you in the next one. If you made it to this point in the video, I just want to give a special thank you. If you enjoyed it, please hit that like button down below, and if you really enjoyed it, maybe consider hitting that subscribe button while you're down there. I want to hear your thoughts in the comment section. I will try to reply to any and all comments that I can. Until next time, watch that video on screen.